All right, now that we cover that, let's move into the offensive line and the offenses. We just about done with the offense. Starting with the front lines, you see Trevor Penning there with Andrews Pete, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Ryan Ramczyk are your starters, even though some people believe James Hurst is the starter right now, and Penning has to take it from Hurst, even though that doesn't necessarily make sense, because you don't waste a first-round draft pick on a backup. You're going to usually take that draft pick and start him right away. That's just like when you have Chris Olave. That's like taking Chris Olave and setting him on the bench for Marquez Callaway. No. Why? Because he's a first-round draft pick, and first-round draft picks start. So no, I'm not buying the James Hurst starting over Trevor Penning right now. Absolutely not. That goes against the natural order of what draft picks stand for. You don't take first-rounders to sit them on the bench. They got a first-round grade because you consider them as young starters in the NFL, or you try to get them on that level, or get them, they're not too far from starting, or vice versa, however you look at it. But Penning's not a bad pick for the Saints and at the first round, but he is in the wrong position in my estimation. I think he should be at right tackle, and Ramczyk should be at left tackle. I've said this enough. Switch them around, and I think you're doing something, because at least that way you solve a big issue with the Saints offensive line, which is protecting the hurt quarterback Jameis Winston's blind side. You do not want to put a rookie in the left tackle position, because he will face some of the most fierce pass rushers in the business from Jameis's blind side. So you will want to have a reliable offensive lineman that you're paying a lot of money to, who played the position in college, who can make the adjustment. He'll have a better adjustment at left tackle than Penning would at right tackle, you know. So anyway, because he got to learn anyway. So the issue is I would switch those around, but that's just me. Then of course at left guard, Andrews Pete's there. Andrews Pete needs to stay healthy. We know Pete's a multiple Pro Bowler. He has to stay healthy and play a full season to help out the Saints O-line, because we gonna need that smoke this year. The offensive line's gonna have to bring it. They're gonna be counted on very heavily this year to have success, because you can't throw the ball out to the wide receivers if the quarterback's under pressure. You can't run the ball with Alvin Kamara or Mark Ingram if the offensive line does not open up the proper holes for that to happen. So you got McCoy in the center and Ruiz. So really the two guys I'm really comfortable with is Ramczyk and McCoy, even though I switched Ramczyk and Penning position around. But McCoy is a guy that's intriguing. He could play the guard position. He played it in college, and he switched to center and did okay. I'm saying McCoy could play the right guard position to see if Cesar Ruiz can play the center. I think it'll be easier for you to learn how to teach him to be a center than it is to teach him to be a guard. But then again, he already played center in college, made a first-round draft pick grade under Sean Payton. And for him to play the guard position, he has to get stronger with his footwork, but it's easier to learn the guard than the center, right? Because what you're responsible for at the center, man, you got all kind of stuff going on that you got to be accounting for if you're the center of the team. So if he's done that before and he's smart enough to be a center, he's smart enough to pick up what he needs to do at the right guard position. That's what it comes down to. You got to get strong. You got to work on his footwork. Outside of that, knows what he's looking at, and he should be fine. So Doug Marrone, hopefully he gets them together on that. Okay, let's move to the second level of the black backups, which is the swing offensive lineman, which is James Hurst, the veteran, is there, who will operate as the swing tackle or swing guard. Whoever gets hurt, he'll operate at the position. I really don't think the Saints want to see him move him from any of these positions unless they're forced to. You know, I think they really would like to have James Hurst at that position as the sixth offensive lineman. I mean, it's a very important position, just like the third pass rush position is. It's a very important position, you know, because if somebody get hurt, an Andrews Pete or Cesar Ruiz or anybody else, then you're going to need James Hurst for several games to step in and fill in for him. I'm also very happy the Saints brought back Forrest Lamp, who's a former second-round draft pick coming over from the Los Angeles Chargers. To see in his second year, you should see more improvement from Forrest Lamp. He's a solid offensive lineman. Does he get an opportunity to kind of compete against some of these other guys like Cesar Ruiz? Only time will tell. Of course, Lamp also plays the center position for the Saints, so he has value inside center and guard. And then, of course, on the other side is Kelvin Throckmorton, who's a guy I was really impressed. I wasn't really impressed with Kelvin Throckmorton, to be honest with you. He played every position, but just because you play every position don't necessarily mean that you'll be good at him. And Kelvin Throckmorton, even though he's big, he's a big guy and he got some strength, but he's very slowful. He got beat multiple times last year, and at times it was like he was just just to say Kelvin Throckmorton has to improve his game. He definitely has to step up. Landon Young's a guy the Saints like a lot. He was drafted as a tackle, even though they say he could play guard. That's the guy they picked up out of the University of Kentucky. They're really high on him. Remember, he had a broken foot last year, got hurt. Want to see what Landon Young could do. Hurst, Forrest Lamp, Landon Young give the Saints some solid players in the back up there and some versatility there. At some point, Landon Young was seen before the opinion pick that he could possibly be a fill-in at the tackle position. So can Landon Young make a name somewhere else? Could he step in and fill in and at guard, or if somebody don't work out, could he step in there and do his thing? So we'll see what Landon Young could do. He's another very interesting player for the Saints on offense, on the offensive line. Behind them, Ethan Greenwich. Not really big on Ethan Greenwich. I think he took several steps back in his development. Since the first year he was here, he looked good, but the rest of the year, he just looked like the game just was too fast for him. He got blew by several times, so Greenwich is going to have to step up. He's a big offensive lineman, but he just got a lot of developing to do. Josh Andrews, who comes over from the Atlanta Falcons, has been in the league for several years. He's one of those veterans that you want to have on the backup, in your backup offensive lineman that you can rely on in the pinch. And the Saints feel comfortable with those old veteran offensive linemen. You got one in James Hurst there, who's a swing tackle. Forrest Lamp's been in the game, so he helps out. Does Josh Andrews, who some see as a long shot, is he able to kind of sneak up on the Saints line? And then you got other practice squad players that we're looking at, like Lewis Kidd and Sage Dockstader. Kaliku Washington was a guy that a lot of people was intrigued by. Derek Schwieger's there as well. And then, of course, veterans like Gerald Hawkins, who was here last year. These guys mostly seen, and some of these guys are seen more as practice squad players, depth to be stashed on the practice squad, even though Kaliku Washington was an intriguing pickup for the Saints, and people are intrigued to see what he can do. Or is he just a simple practice squad player? So that's what the offense looked like, fam.